Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Christine Zeppos, the Dean of the School of Education at Bremen University. It's so exciting to have you all here tonight to learn about our Doctor of Education in Organizational Leadership program. Tonight, you will receive campus introductions and a local campus welcome, followed by a presentation that we will now go over academic portions of the program. And afterwards, you will have time a question and answer session by the local campus staff who will field your non-academic questions. And also, if you have academic questions remaining after this presentation, feel free to email us at edd@bremen.edu. As I mentioned, I am the Dean of the School of Education. You will also be hearing from Dr. Patricia Clark-White, our Associate Dean of the School of Education, who oversees our doctoral program as well as our educational administration program. You will also hear from co-chairs Dr. Keith Larrick, a professor in education, and Dr. Tamarin Capolino, assistant professor and instructional designer for the School of Education, who also serve as co-chairs of the doctoral program. For those of you who are not familiar with Bremen University, the School of Education is one of 6 schools at Bremen University. We have the School of Business and Professional Studies, who we partner with on this doctoral program, the School of Nursing and Health Professions, the School of Arts and Sciences, the School of Extended Education, and our newest college, Emeritus College, which focuses on Spanish dual language immersion at the university level. Bremen University, as many of you know, has a long and distinguished history for over 50 years. We were formerly Chapman University College, the 8th college of Chapman University, and in 2009 received a large donation from the Bremen Educational Foundation to invest in technology and cutting-edge and state-of-the-art programs which meet the needs of working professionals. As many of you know, Chapman University has a long and distinguished history, and Bremen University was formerly Chapman University College, one of the 8 colleges of Chapman University. In 2009, we received a large donation from the Bremen Educational Foundation to invest in technology, high-level faculty, and cutting-edge programs that meet the needs of busy working professionals. We have a long history as the second largest private university producer of teacher credentials in the state of California and have produced 2 National Teachers of the Year. Recently, the schools of business and education were ranked in U.S. News and World Report, the School of Business as a top MBA program, and the School of Education received number 10 ranking for the high-level faculty credentials and training, and we're very pleased by this honor. Bremen University has 26 campuses across California and Washington, and we're very fortunate to have 14 campuses that now have our doctoral program. I know you're interested to get to know a little bit more about our doctoral program, and so now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Pat Clark-White, who will go into details of the program.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Pat White, and I'm very happy to welcome all of you today to hear about this exciting program that we have to offer you and to learn some of the details that we are happy to share. Dr. Zeppos has done a great job in letting you know a little bit about our university and what we have to offer here to our incoming and our current students. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why we feel that this program should be offered at Bremen University and what it's going to do for you should you decide to join our team. When we first talked about should we offer a doctoral program at Bremen University in the School of Education, we began to collect information on whether or not there was actually a need for such a program. And we found out from our research that there is quite an anticipated demand for qualified pre-K through 12 leaders and also leaders in community college administration that will be emerging in the next 10 years. We also found that business is going to really have a need for transformational leaders as well as nonprofit organizations. And so putting all of that information together and finding that, yes, in fact, there is a need for people who are qualified to lead organizations with new skills and new ideas, we decided to offer a doctoral program in organizational leadership for the School of Education. The program focuses on transformational change. We found that the whole notion of where organizations are going in the next decade to 2 decades in this 21st century led us to the idea that we know for one thing for sure, and that is that change is going to be a constant in organizations for the future. And not only the kind of change that we easily deal with on a daily basis or that we have to invoke from time to time just to stay current with needs, but the kind of change that will produce breakthrough results. The kind of change that really transforms a department, transforms an organization, transforms the people within the organization. And so in this September 2012, Brandman launched a flagship interdisciplinary doctoral program in organizational leadership. We have our first class, and they are beginning their journey with us even as we speak. And applications are now being accepted for the fall session in 2013. The mission for our program is to develop visionary leaders who are creative agents of change in transforming their diverse organizations through collaboration, innovation, positive influence, strategic thinking, and a profound commitment to lifelong learning. There are many benefits to enrolling in a program such as this. For one thing, if you're interested in moving up the ladder, this program will help you to develop the knowledge, skills, qualities that will increase your appeal to employers who may be interested in hiring. It also helps you to be more effective on the job that you have. It adds practical value right away and helps you to perform with new insights and generate creative solutions to the complex problems that are confounding our organizations more and more. Some of you may want to teach ultimately in a university, and this program will be invaluable in the content and modeling sound adult learning principles that will help you to secure a position as an adjunct professor or a full-time professor eventually. And it helps to have that doctorate that most IHEs require. So summing up, why get an EdD? The doctoral degree actually is very necessary for senior level administrative positions and becoming more and more necessary. We have people enrolled in our program right now that have indicated to us that as they are moving up in their organizations, whether it's a K-12 organization, a community college, whether it's a business or a police department, or a nonprofit agency, more and more of them are looking for top-level leaders who are capable of leading transformational change and have the doctorate that really gives evidence that they are scholarly practitioners. There's going to be a large number of anticipated retirements in the next few years, and that will lead to a high demand for both business and K-12 and community college leaders with expertise in the field of transformational change. And now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Keith Lyric, who will talk to you about what you'll learn in this program.
It's my pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you some of the things that will be included in the Brandman University doctoral program and share with you some of the concepts that you will learn as a student in the program. But it begins with an understanding that the demand for leadership today has never been greater. It's a demand not just for leadership, but a special kind of leadership, transformational leadership. It's a leadership that brings about change and moves an organization and its people to a new, different, and more successful place. And that kind of leadership requires visionary leadership, having an understanding of what's coming out in the future and leveraging that to take action to move an organization in the right direction. And that really can't happen either without having political intelligence, understanding how to build support, coalitions, and resources necessary to become a transformational leader and bring change in the organization. That's also supported by strategic thinking, making decisions each day that support the vision of the organization and doing so in a way that leverages all of your resources. Creativity and sustained innovation, one of the most prized skills of the 21st century. Creativity, innovation supports change And it's not just change for change's sake, but supporting a vision of the organization's future. And diversity is not just about a traditional sense of diversity, it's about using all of the backgrounds, resources, and diverse ideas of an organization pooled together, make much more powerful decisions in an organization. And collaborative relationships. All leadership is about relationships. Relationships that bring groups of people together and give them time, support, and resources to make decisions together, supporting the organization. And finally, ethical decision making. Leaving the organization in a much better place, but leading based on values, purpose, and a vision for what the organization is all about. All of these together will help be a transformational leader. And what are the courses like? In this doctoral program, students will complete 57 units of coursework. That coursework is really accelerated in this model so that the coursework is finished during the first 2 years or 22 months of the program. That allows students to get a solid start on their dissertation, as from the very beginning, research is included in the design, leading students towards the dissertation and the research. So on the average, students will add 1 to 2 years onto their studies to complete the final requirement for the dissertation, but it leaves the door open for students to complete coursework and the dissertation study in 3 years. In the coursework, the first set of courses are 12 units. Transformational Leadership is the first course, and that's in the sequence. And typically it is supported by writing for research and publication. The second course in the sequence is Organizational Communication and Conflict Management. Learning to communicate individually, in small groups and large groups, and understanding that all change deals with some kind of conflict, bringing it to a group resolution. Team and group dynamics, learning to work individually with teams and large and small groups. And organizational theory and development, understanding the background and foundations of organizations and the theory behind their operation. And strategic thinking, again, the idea of looking forward and making decisions based on a solid vision of the organization. And finally, understanding what assessment, evaluation, accountability contributes. Knowing where you're going, but being able to evaluate each step and knowing when to make corrections in course. The next set of courses presented here is creativity, innovation, and sustainable change. Creativity being the critical skill of the 21st century in leading organizations from where they are to a place they have not yet been. Ethics and the politics of decision making, making decisions that are based on the greater good of individuals and the organizations, and understanding the role of politics in decision making. Diversity and intercultural aspects of leadership. The diversity embraces not only the intercultural aspects, but diversity in groups and ideas and thoughts and styles bringing together, which adds to the potential for solid decisions. And transformational change, which becomes part of the Transformational Change Project, which is a field experience where students will be involved in actually taking a change out into an organization. Innovation and resource management, learning how to use all of the assets that are available, people, time, and physical assets to leverage them against the direction of the organization. And finally, the leader as a change agent or a leader of change. The research courses begin with writing for research and publication. There's two courses over 2 8-week periods, preparing the students to begin the research and dissertation process. After that, quantitative methodology, 2 courses again, looking at the details of not only research methodology, but how to collect data and analyze that data. And finally, the qualitative methodology, going out into the field and collecting data in focus groups, interviews, and interaction with people, and how to use that data in the research process. The last piece is actually the dissertation. It is developing the dissertation prospectus, That is the design of the individual research project, going through a review, and leads the student directly to the advancement into candidacy as one of the major documents to be advanced before you can actually begin the formal dissertation. And the last two courses really are the dissertation, working with an individual advisor and committee to implement the research, collect the data, reach conclusions, and present that for an oral defense for the doctoral degree. And now Dr. White is going to share with you our signature project and talk to you about the dissertation process.
As you may have heard us say, one of the things about our program is that while we will introduce to you the latest and most cutting edge theory on all of the aspects of leadership and change, our focus is going to be on helping you to change that theory into practical application. And so a major field-based project which integrates all the latest theories into a real-world experience is going to be a big focus of your doctoral program. It is, we call it the Transformational Change Project, or TCP for short. And it is designed over your entire first year. We begin in the very first class talking about the Transformational Change Project and beginning to think about it, evaluate alternatives and options, asking you to think about it, talking with people in your own organization, doing interviews, collecting data, and doing library research to think about what transformational change project might you undertake in your second year. And then over the course of the first year, you are given assignments in just about every class that will help you to prepare for that second year experience. You'll begin to formulate a team that works as an executive team on the transformational change project in your organization. You'll begin to develop a communication change model. You're going to be developing a strategic plan for implementing it, and then you're going to be developing an evaluation plan for deciding how effective has your plan been. In the second year, you will spend 24 weeks, about 6 months, working on your project. A good portion of that will be done under the supervision of your cohort mentor. You will be having an opportunity to work with people in your own organization, or you can be a consultant to another organization that needs to bring about transformational change. The idea behind transformational change is that you want to look for a project that is going to involve breakthrough results. Some project or some opportunity in the organization where, in order to be successful, in order to keep up with the demands of the 21st century, in order to stay alive and survive, you need to come up with a strategy that will produce breakthrough results, and then work with the people in that organization to accomplish it. Many times a transformational change will take many more months than just the 6 months that we have given our students to work on it. But that's just fine with us. We want you to take it as far as you can go in 6 months and then stop, debrief, evaluate, and determine what your next steps will be to take you forward. At the end of your second year, you will engage in a transformational change symposium. And at that symposium will be held at the immersion in June, at the end of June, and you will share lessons learned from your experience. You will bring artifacts, you will indicate what your project was. We will invite in faculty members, other students from the first year and other second year students to see your presentation, and possibly people from the organization that you have served with, either as a leader or a consultant. So that is our transformational change project. The second very unique feature of our doctoral program is that we offer two options to complete your dissertation. One is the traditional dissertation that is done in isolation, just you and your committee work together under the supervision of your committee chair to complete a research study that you have their approval to conduct. Or the second option is what we call a thematic dissertation. And in this particular situation, each student will still be writing their own individual dissertation, but you'll have the option to work in a student group on a similar theme with the same faculty chair. As an example, if you have a group of students who are interested in working together on the whole notion of shared leadership and how you distribute responsibilities in a shared leadership organization, you might have a K-12 principal who wants to look at that whole topic through the lens of what strategies, what skills are necessary for a principal to undertake in an organization that wants to engage in sharing leadership. You might also have a college teacher, a faculty member at a community college who wants to study shared leadership through the lens of a faculty member, and what kind of skills and strategies and knowledge base are needed by a faculty member in that situation. And you might have a police chief who has decided that he wants to try shared leadership in a police organization, in a police department. And how would that look? How would it be the same or different from other organizations? And what are the skills and training and knowledge and strategy that would be necessary in using the whole approach of shared leadership in a police department? Those three people might work together with one chair, and each would be looking at the topic through a slightly different lens. They may very well share a lot of information, a lot of research in the review of the literature. They will still write their own review of the literature, and it may look slightly different because of the fact that they're looking through different lenses. And there will be some of the literature that will look a lot alike. There will be a chapter 1 that explains the purpose of the study that goes down the road of their particular lens, and a chapter 3 where they describe their own methodology. So, for example, the college teacher might want to do a survey of community college faculty in organizations, colleges where this is being used, and she may want to survey 300 community college faculty members who have experience with shared leadership. The principal might want to do interviews with principals who have experience with shared leadership. So he may decide to do a case study. And the police chief may do an ethnographic study where he goes in and observes in a police department where it's being utilized and sits in on meetings and talks to people and takes notes and observations about what he sees as being unique to that kind of situation and what kind of skills and strategies and knowledge might be unique to that particular type of organization, which is traditionally not a shared leadership situation. So each person would be looking for their own findings using different methodology and different samples in this case as well. One a community college faculty, one K-12 principal group from across several districts, and one police department that might be engaged in shared leadership. So they could share ideas. That helps them to stay focused. They move forward as students begin to help each other. They are all working for the same chair, and the chair is guiding the work of all three students. It helps to provide ongoing support, and also one of the things we have learned over the past is that there are many, many, many students across the whole United States that complete all of their coursework and do an exemplary job in completing coursework. And then they get to the dissertation and they're off by themselves, and there's no longer the need to come weekly to class or attend seminars or to work with anyone else, and they fall off the tracks. And those students end up being an ABD, all but the dissertation, instead of an EDD with all that goes with that. So we want to make sure that we're avoiding the ABD syndrome and helping you to ensure that you will complete your dissertation and complete your degree in as short order as possible. And we believe that the thematic dissertation option is a very good one for many of our students, and it is an option that you can consider as well as the traditional option of the individual dissertation. And now we're going to turn this over to Dr. Tamarin Capolino, and she will take you through the next stage of our presentation.
Hi, this is Dr. Tamarin Capolino, and I'm going to share with you a little bit more about how you'll learn in our program and how we deliver our program through a very unique model. A primary component of our program is the online coursework. However, it really is a hybrid model. You will come together in face-to-face meetings through immersion, cohort meetings, and webinars. One of the face-to-face components of our program is the cohorts. Currently, we have 18 cohorts that you can see represented on this slide. However, we do have 26 campuses throughout California and the state of Washington. Depending on student enrollment, other cohorts can be added. Currently, cohorts run between 8 and 15 students in size. Your cohort mentor is a leading practitioner in the field that has been assigned as adjunct faculty to your particular cohort. They play a very important role throughout your doctoral journey and will be your coach for the entire 2 years. Specifically, your cohort mentors will support you in learning content and also in your dissertation development. They will also be able to assist you in career development and coach you on how to take theory and put it into real-world practice. They will also guide you to implement your transformational change project within your organization. Another important piece of our program are the immersions. Immersions are conducted 3 times a year over long weekends and meet in the vicinity of our Irvine campus. During these immersions, we devote a lot of time on content and information that supports your research courses. The dates for 2013-14, pending final board approval, are Labor Day weekend, August 31st through September 2nd, Martin Luther King weekend, January 18th through 20th, and the last 4 days of the Summer 1 term, June 26th through 29th. There are some differences between the cohort and immersion sessions. Immersions happen 3 times a year for 2 years, while cohort meetings will typically occur monthly for a half day. Immersions are conducted in the vicinity of our Irvine campus and give you an opportunity to network with all the doctoral faculty and students in the program throughout the state. In your cohort meetings, you will work with a small group of students that are local in your area and your cohort mentor. In immersions, you will also be exposed to expert speakers and leading practitioners, and will be introduced to upcoming course content and offered guided practice in the concepts that you're learning in your courses. Cohort meetings really are your laboratory for learning. Students practice and demonstrate leadership skills. Another important component of our immersions are the dissertation seminars. From your very first immersion, you will be engaged in dissertation seminars that will help you develop your research proposal and move forward with your research at the tail end of the second year. We also will offer opportunities for specialization workshops. In your cohort meetings, you will work together to offer insights into the real-world application of the theory that you're learning. You'll be able to lead discussions on student-generated topics. Your cohort mentor will assist you in coaching you on your leadership skills, supervise your TCP planning and implementation, and offer you career guidance. I will now turn it back over to Dr. Keith Larrick.
Webinars are a particularly important part of the doctoral program. Webinars offer an opportunity for presentations and content for discussion, for reports, and for problem solving of students joining the webinar. Webinars are offered twice each term by a content instructor and by the research instructor, requiring a total of 4 webinars per term. Each webinar is scheduled for 2 optional times, so students will have a choice to match their work schedule and time available to attend the webinar. There are also volunteer webinars that will be offered as students need additional support and help or for assignment clarifications. And all these webinars will be recorded for students who may wish to review them at a later time, retrieving them from the archive. What makes Brandman unique? That is easy to respond to because it begins to the emphasis on transformational change and transformational leadership. This sets Brandman apart from most all other programs in addressing the need for change in organizations and with people. It's also important emphasis on building relationships with cohort mentors, with faculty members, with peers, and building relationships that will last a lifetime. The online program offers face-to-face support from immersions and cohorts as well as webinars. It's not just working online individually, but coming together as teams and groups throughout the learning experience. Also, completion of coursework in 2 years, accelerating the program, allowing students to begin the dissertation process in the 3rd year. And as the program begins, that preparation for the dissertation is included as one of the first activities and continuous right up to the point where the research and dissertation actually starts. And finally, the thematic dissertation option, doing a traditional dissertation or in fact working with a team, combine research and efforts and support to complete the dissertation process. And now we'll turn it back to Dr. Capolino.
In August 2012, we welcomed our inaugural class of over 160 EdD students. This far exceeded our initial expectations of 25 students for our first year. Now I want to share with you a little bit of feedback from one of our cohort mentors and one of our students. Brandman University is breathing life into leaders who can inspire a shared vision to do what is right, what is good, what is important, and what is beautiful. I'm honored to be a part of this outstanding new program that is transforming the lives of faculty, students, and educational enterprises in profound ways. One of our students commented, "It has been a wonderful but very, very busy 8 weeks. The best news is that I can immediately apply everything I have learned to my current position. I am transforming every day and continue to be excited about this thoughtful and courageous program." I will now turn it over to Dr. Pat Clark-White, who will tell you how to get started.
Now that you've heard all about our program, we hope that you'll be as excited as we are about it and as excited as the students who are already working for their degree in this program. To get started, you will need some transcripts documenting the fact that you have a master's degree with a minimum GPA of 3.0. If you haven't completed your master's and won't until later this year, you can still apply, but you will need to submit the master's degree before you are accepted into the program. The submission of a portfolio is also required, which consists of the following items: 2 writing samples that show graduate level communications and analytical skills, and that might be papers that you completed in your master's program, or it might be papers or documents that you have completed as part of the work that you are currently doing. Resume showing leadership experience, professional development, listing achievements, awards, or professional recognition. 2 letters of reference from persons who can attest to your ability to do graduate level work, and a letter of intent explaining the reasons that you want to enter this program. Now, if you're not employed in an organization, or if you are in a position that requires the approval of a supervisor to apply the learning in the field, a letter must be submitted explaining where and how you plan to work on the field assignments. and especially how you plan to lead a transformational change project. This is very much a field-based program. And a lot of the work that you'll be doing, a lot of the assignments you'll be doing, will be done in your organization, at work, while you're doing your regular job. And so you need to either be in a position where you will have the freedom to do that, or you must get the approval of the person who is in charge of that organization, so that you are not in a position where you can't do the assignments later on. This is an extremely important part of your application process. So if you're self-employed or if you are unemployed, these are things that you should really talk about with the person who's interviewing you at the time of your application. All applicants must successfully participate in an intake interview with a doctoral faculty member that will be designated by me, and this is a very important part of the acceptance process. If you have more academic questions that cannot be answered by the staff that is there with you this evening, please feel free to email us at the address on the screen, edd@brandman.edu. There's also more information posted on our website, www.brandman.edu/edd. Thank you again for being here with us today. We hope to hear from you in the very near future, and we are very excited to be able to talk with you in interviews and hope to see you next fall. Thank you.